64,000 years. For 64,000 years, man has been obsessed with recording information. The first method of recording information, as far as we know, were the cave paintings. We know the age because we carbon dated caves in western Spain and found that they were 64,000 years old. Jump ahead. Now you have the Egyptians and logging stuff on papyrus. Jump ahead a little bit more, and the monks that were recording page by page over and over again the same book. They gave way to the Gutenberg press. The Gutenberg press was now automating sort of this whole idea of making books. Jump ahead again. Charles Babbage invents the computer. We now take pieces of paper and shove them in a computer, and that's how we stored our information. We jump ahead a little bit more. You're now in the 1940s, 1950s, and magnetic tape is being used to record information. Jump ahead a little bit more, and suddenly you have the CD, the compact disc. You also had floppy disks at the same time. They originally were like 8 inches. They were huge, and they were literally floppy, which I find ironic because a few years later, they were no longer floppy and they were much smaller. They ended up turning them into a 3.5 inch disc. At the point that they start using CDs, we were using, we were using light rays, or lasers with a wavelength of 780 nanometers. Sounds like, you have to have it compared to something to understand that. So we'll compare it to DVDs. In the 90s, DVDs came to be. These recorded a heck of a lot more information. So basically, they went from 780 nanometers down to 650. This increased the storage. The smaller the wavelength, the more the storage is. So for the same size, you get a lot better storage. You jump into the 2000s, now we have Blu-rays. So CDs were on the infrared area of the spectrum, and Blu-rays are toward the ultraviolet end. As you go from red to blue, or violet, the wavelengths get smaller and you can store more information. So Blu-rays came to be. Those were in the 405 nanometer category. So we jump from 780 to 650 to 405. It increases our ability to store information greatly. Now, of course, we have clouds and whatnot, but where does the future go from here? What could we do? Dispelling Moore's Law. Moore's Law is the idea that that technology progresses, it doubles every 2 years as far as the transistors on an integrated circuit. If we abandoned that whole idea and went to DNA storage, which is very interesting because you're storing, you go from using light to using DNA, which is very tightly bound, and because of that, you get more information in there. There's also holographic storage. Holographic is going from 2D to 3D, which also obviously creates a lot more storage. I apologize. I've got a very sore throat. Anyway, it's really exciting to see how things are happening and the possibilities of where we can go from this. We're still going to be obsessed with storage, and I think by human nature we always will be. Thank you.